Honorable Chief Justice, Honorable Judges of the High Court of Delhi, Honorable Executive Chairpersons of the State Legal Services Authorities, Honorable Chairpersons and members of mediation committees of the High Courts, Honorable members of NALSA and MCPC, Secretaries to the Government of India, learned District Judges and Chairpersons, District Legal Services Authorities, learned Secretary General and Registrars, Supreme Court and High Court of Delhi, learned Principal Judges, Family Courts, Delhi, learned Member Secretaries of the State Legal Services Authorities, learned Judicial Officers, Mediators, Government Officers, Lawyers, Media Persons, both from the print and the electronic media, representatives of NGOs, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the National Legal Services Authority, I, Gitanjali Goyal, Director, NALSA, welcome you to this program for release of NALSA theme song, launch of NALSA web portal, and inauguration of the National Consultation on Challenges in Mediation and the Way Forward. A ray of light is a ray of hope. Let us all leave the darkness and step towards the bright path. I request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly commence the program with the lighting of the ceremonial lamp. Thank you. I now request Honorable Mr. Justice Anil R. Dave, Judge, Supreme Court of India and Executive Chairman NALSA, to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice T.S. Thakur, Chief Justice of India and Patron-in-Chief NALSA, by presenting a potted plant. These plants have been nurtured by differently able children from the NGO Shaurya Center, New Delhi. Thank you, sir. I request Honorable Mr. Justice Madan B. Lokur, Judge, Supreme Court of India, to welcome Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Honorable Minister for Law and Justice and Electronics and Information Technology, by presenting a potted plant. Thank you, sir. I request Honorable Mr. Justice Naveen Sinha, Chief Justice, High Court of Rajasthan and Patron-in-Chief, State Legal Services Authority, Rajasthan, to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Anil R. Dave, Judge, Supreme Court of India and Executive Chairman NALSA, representing a potted. Thank you, sir. I request Shri Alok Agarwal, Member Secretary, NALSA, to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice Deepak Mishra, Judge, Supreme Court of India, by presenting a potted plant. Thank you, sir. I request Ms. Jasmine Sharma, Secretary, Supreme Court Legal Services Committee, to welcome Honorable Mr. Justice. Thank you, Jasmine. No free man shall be taken or imprisoned or disseized of his freehold or liberties, or free customs, or be outlawed or exiled, or any otherwise be destroyed. Nor will we pass upon him nor condemn him, but by lawful judgment of his peers, or by the law of the land. We will sell to no man.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Thakur, Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Honorable Minister, my brother Justice Deepak Mishra, my brother Justice Madan Lokur, my brother and sister judges, all members of NALSA and SALSA team, very good morning to everybody. We all are making Herculean efforts to see that that object is achieved. I will tell you one thing, that we have gathered here to solve some problems also, because we know that we are facing certain problems, but at the same time, there cannot be any problem without any solution. There cannot be any lock without any key. The only thing is that we have to find out the key of that lock. The problem which we know is areas of cases mounting in the courts. We know it that, frankly, we are unable to manage that. There are several reasons. Number of judges are less. There is a progress in the society. Trade and commerce is developing. That's why there is more litigation. People are becoming more and more literate. Legal literacy, that is also one of the reasons, because people know about their rights. And another factor which we cannot control, rather difficult to control, is increasing population. All these factors ultimately result into increase in arrears. So we have to solve the problem, and ADR, alternative dispute resolution, is the best method to solve the problem. Mediation, conciliation, arbitration, lok adalat, these are the methods which we are using successfully to see that the arrears can be controlled. So we are talking about the problem and the solution also. Mediation is one of the best methods. We know it very well that because of the mediation, not only the parties go smiling from the court, because normally either one succeeds and other loses. That is the only thing which happens in the court, and the appeal is always ready. The one who is happy because of his victory in the trial court is immediately served with a summons with regard to the appeal. So that happiness is temporary. But when the matter is settled out of the court by mediator or by conciliator, then possibility of that pain coming to him is virtually demolished. So that is a very good method which we can resolve, we can use. Moreover, there are certain relationships where mediation and conciliation would help a lot. Say there are two neighbors. Even if one neighbor succeeds, he has to see the face of another neighbor in the morning on the next day. Now, that success would be temporary, because the moment they see each other, the relations would be strained once again. Family members, partitioning the family. Now, here also the relations are permanent. Two brothers fighting over property. One succeeds, one loses, but they remain brothers forever, and the relations are strained. If mediation can do something, then it can really do wonders. So this is what we are planning to do, but there are certain problems which we are facing with regard to payment of fees, better mediators, better training. All these problems, all these issues we'll be discussing today, and I'm sure that our entire function will be a great success with your help. Another important issue is what we are doing is very often not known to the person who really requires our help. That's why NALSA and SALSA teams are really doing their best to see that due publicity is given to the activities performed by NALSA and SALSA. Today, there will be one wonderful, unique thing, release of a theme song, which is a brainchild of our Chief Justice, Justice Thakur. And I have to thank Mr. Prakash Jha, a very eminent director, film director, जिन्होंने उनका स्वप्न साकार किया. One who's really made an excellent song, which gives you complete details about the activities, which shows a common man how he is helped by NALSA. Really, that is very heart-touching, and I'm very happy to welcome him and his team who is present here. Mr. Prakash Jha, I especially welcome you, and I really thank you well in advance before Mr. Justice Lokur thanks you that you have done a wonderful job. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. The website will give you complete idea about all activities. Not only that, a person in need with a click on his computer can get all help. He need not go to any office to get an application form. He need not go somewhere to make a complaint. He need not go to some other place to know as to what is the progress in his matter. Everything he would know if he can have a computer, or he can have help of somebody who is having the computer. This is a wonderful thing. Of course, the development in science, the developing society is making all these facilities available to us, and I'm happy that we are taking due advantage of it. An excellent website has been prepared, which will definitely help everyone, even to us, to have a control. Suppose somebody wants to know, somebody who is dealing with NALSA, SALSA, an officer, he wants to know as to what has happened to a particular complaint. He can see that. One who wants to supervise, one who wants to know as to what happened to his complaint, he can know it. All these things will be possible, and I'm happy that we'll be launching that website today. So today is a wonderful day where we will be discussing the problems. We know the solutions. We will be discussing the solutions, and I am very sure that we will be doing a wonderful program today, and our program will be really a successful program. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your motivating address and for setting the tone for the program. Besides providing legal services to the weaker and marginalized sections of the society, access to real justice entails providing speedy and less expensive modes of dispute resolution for everyone as an alternative to litigation in courts. Lok Adalat is India's indigenous form of alternative dispute resolution, increasing referrals to mediation and participation of state judicial academies in conducting awareness and referral judges training programs. The sessions would be mostly interactive in nature. By this consultation, we hope to chalk out strategies for having a more vibrant mediation system in the country, which would be of immense help in reducing dependency in the courts. Honorable Mr. Justice Deepak Mishra, Judge, Supreme Court of India, is known for his bold judgments. As a judge of the Supreme Court, His Lordship led the bench which rejected the 1993 Mumbai serial blast convict Yaqub Memmon's appeal to stop his execution. His Lordship has had a long association with legal services as a member of NALSA twice. The commitment of His Lordship to legal services can be gauged from the fact that while being the Chief Justice of the High Court of Delhi, His Lordship himself used to be a part of the pre-sittings for Lok Adalats as well as the Lok Adalat benches. His Lordship's amazing ability to mentally calculate the compensation in motor accident claims cases in 2.5 minutes left all in awe. His Lordship's contribution in making the mediation center in Delhi more effective cannot be forgotten. I now request His Lordship to kindly deliver the special address.
My Lord the Chief Justice, Justice Thakur, Honorable Minister of Law, Mr. Prasad, my esteemed brother, Honorable Justice Dave, Chairman NALSA, my esteemed peer, Justice Lukur, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Honorable Judges of the High Court of Delhi, Honorable Judges who have come from other High Courts as delegates, being members or chairman of MCP, friends from the electronic and print media, Mr. Prakash Jha, what I have been told that he is going to have a contribution, a theme song, the project that was given to him. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to deliver a special address. The special address is likely to be sandwiched between the keynote address and the inaugural address. But sometimes the sandwiches can be a better sandwich. Not compared to that, see, sometimes the sandwiches are badly made, but sometimes they can be well prepared if you are able to sandwich the ideas. That's my way of understanding this. I am really not concerned about the reduction of pendency straight away. Let's not understand mediation as a project for the purpose of mediation. The section 89 of the Code of Civil Procedure uses the word alternative dispute resolution system, and it has the concept of accessibility to justice inherent in it. I would like to put it, it's an additional resolution method by which justice is made and access to justice is accentuated. I'll give few examples. There are some lawyers from the Supreme Court are sitting here, they can stand testimony or can contradict if they so desire. You see, there are now corporate fights. We have traveled from the poor to the corporate fights. Now corporate houses have started going to the constables. When they file, the documents have been forged, somebody has cheated, and how much amount? 200 crores, 300 crores, in one case 1100 crores. I said, how do you expect two senior counsel, very senior, I don't want to name them, they were appearing in the case. How do you expect that a constable will do it? Answer came, it's not going to the constable, it's going to be a DCP. I said, how does the DCP understand this corporate accounting? What is this? You go for mediation. They agreed. But we sent it to a mediator who is not trained, but an expert, in whom the people had the trust and who had the can and the attitude to do it. And it's a matter of record. The report came of 52 pages and 76 cases were settled. That is mediation. Parties have agreed. Because they among themselves 138 properties, women, whatever it is. And the Union of India, nor the state, lost a single pie because the stamp duty and all registration duty were agreed to be paid and have to be paid. Otherwise, it's a piece of paper. Now, this corporate fights, the court have a role now to act as facilitators. Instead of telling them they are referral judges straight away, they refer. But they have to really adjust, understand whether this matter can be referred, whether this matter should be referred to a center straight away, so that they can really devote some time as a team or a group or to a person who really has the ability to enter into that intricacies of law. That decision is paramount, and therefore I would like to say he has to be a referral judge and simultaneously a facilitator in referring and in understanding the concept of reference. One. Second point I would like to highlight, I have been told and I read there are more than 850 centers in the country. We have the centers, we have the master trainers, we have the lawyers who are sitting over here who also feel they run the center. They are doing well. I am not saying no. I was a part of the Chief Judge as the Delhi High Court. I knew the center runs well, but we have a tendency to be content. You can ask me a philosophical question. Contentment is the element vital of life. Unless you are contented, how do you lead life properly? Where is peace? There I have a caveat. None of you have a right to be contented. Individual contentment is welcome. Individual contentment is prescriptible. But as far as institutional contentment is concerned, it's not acceptable. Once there is institutional contentment, it's complacence. And therefore, we can't really harbor the idea of institutional complacence that we have the centers, we have the master trainers. No. We have to inculcate in those master trainers or trainers the attitude to serve, the attitude to settle. You see what happens? Sometimes we have seen the mediators lose patience. I have not attended a mediation proceeding, but I watched how the training is imparted, how people also lose patience at that time, and sometimes how they try to understand the training. You have to some kind of a feel and take an attitude to serve. Third thing, the mediator or the committee which is in charge, they have to have awareness campaign. In local adalat we have legal aids, but simultaneously at that point of time we also have a local adalat campaign. What is this campaign? Not that we have a mediation, you come for mediation, you can come like this, right? It has to be explained. Simultaneously, actually what we lack, I mean nobody should take it to heart, not you, I mean the entire populace, we lack an attitude of settlement culture. India must have, as I always say, a concept of physical morality, environmental morality, and there has to be morality of settlement culture. Because X or Y or Z, they know what's due to them. Neither you know nor I know. If they sit down and they put forth their cases before the mediator, is the best. Because it's not done in the way local adalat functions. That settlement culture has to develop, and we have to really inject that idea of settlement culture in people. And the last, about the theme song. Initially, I thought, as an individual, why should there be a theme song? You see, let me confess, as a man, you always have some kind of skepticism to a growing idea. Is it necessary to have a theme song? But on 5 minutes reflection, I realized, yes, it is a necessity. It's an imperative. Not for propagation, but that we believe in this. You see, when you broadcast that I believe, it may be lip service. But when you have a concrete project, that belief gets translated and transformed to faith. And that is why I really appreciate, admire, adore the idea of the Honorable Chief Justice to have the project song. It's his vision which has been practicalized, and I must say Justice Dave also deserves to be congratulated to have that. And I don't know personally Mr. Jha, but I also congratulate him and thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom and sharing your immense knowledge with us. Shri Ravi Shankar Prasad, Honorable Minister for Law and Justice and Electronics and Information Technology, has many facets. From being a student leader during youth to being a politician par excellence, besides being an eminent lawyer, to a keen interest in Indian classical music. As a senior advocate, Sir has appeared in a variety of cases in High Courts and the Supreme Court. He has also held diverse, important portfolios as a minister and championed the cause of economic reforms. As Minister of State in the Ministry of Coal and Mines, he helped to accelerate the reform process in the mining and coal sectors. As Minister of State, independent charge of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, he took various initiatives to make the entertainment industry competitive. He has also written many articles on contemporary legal and constitutional issues. I request the Honorable Minister to kindly deliver the keynote address.
Honorable Chief Justice, Honorable Justice Dave, Honorable Justice Deepak Mishra, Honorable Justice Madan Lokur, Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, Honorable Chief Justices and Judges of different High Courts of India, Senior Lawyers, Secretary Justice, Government of India, Secretary Legal Affairs, Government of India, ladies and gentlemen. When Mr. Dave asked me to be here today, I had a program outside, I had a commitment this morning outside there. But then he told me within this time, he said, it will be a theme song inauguration. It will be important and I would expect you to be here. Then I started thinking, how does theme song gel with local adalat activities? And drawing upon my experience both as a former Information Broadcasting Minister of India and also handling the media, I realized that this is the age of information. Information is power. And this is the age of communication, and communication is power. And what better way to communicate having a sync with justice delivery system through alternative models than to have a theme song. I know Prakash very well, outstanding filmmaker. Surely he would have done a great job. I can only draw upon the great theme song of Sarva Siksha Abhiyan, School Chale Hum, School Chale Hum, and how it became a big movement all over the country. Well, ladies and gentlemen, access to justice is important. And I always believe access to justice for the poor, underprivileged is all the more important. Because they form the basic foundation of our democracy, from which emerges the shining concept of rule of law. As Amartya Sen very rightly pointed out, we cannot change the entire world, but we can certainly address remedial injustices. I think that is a very telling word, remedial injustices. Access to justice is important for the sake of good governance. Good governance and justice delivery are two important pillars to propel India into the top league of nations, which we are on the march. I wish to congratulate the entire NALSA movement, Justice Dave, his entire team, Honorable the Chief Justice, all the chairman of the State Legal Authority, all the judicial officers. I was just going through the statistics. 2015, 1.63 crore pre-litigation cases were settled and 61.58 lakh pending cases were settled. Total 2.25 crores. And in 2016 till now, you have 42.55 lakhs settled to 3.58 lakh pre-litigation and 18.96 lakhs pending cases. These are very good. And I feel very strongly that the whole NALSA movement and the Lok Adalat movement, which emerged with settling motor claim cases, insurance cases, needs to go beyond, and I'm happy that march is on. This is my third inning as the Law Minister of India, first in the Bajpayee government, again in 2014 in Modi's government, and again back to this ministry. And I've always told my officers that the useless appeal in motor accident claim cases and insurance cases need to be dealt with very heavy hand. Appeal for the sake of appeal. Why? If the victim have been given a settlement, you better accept it. And I'm very happy that movement had caught on with the persuasive, benign power of the judiciary. And what is important is to extend it further and further. I'm very happy that you have come with new schemes for the tribal rights, for the victims of sexual exploitation, for unorganized worker. That's pretty good. I love that. I would recommend that victims of acid attack should also be taken on a priority basis by framing a special scheme for them. Because that is indeed a very great challenge emerging in the country. We see it daily. Yes, the fight has started. But what is important is to give the helping hand of NALSA and the entire architecture from the central to the taluka level to stand with them so that a message goes that we are there. I have 2-3 more suggestions to give. How can we escalate the whole movement for access to under trials? There is a 436A CRPC provision whereby if in a non-capital offense you have spent half of your detention as an under trial, you are entitled to bail. In my first term also I wrote a lot to all the Chief Justices of various High Courts of India. There is also a judicial verdict. Can it be made a movement? And surely the under trial legal aid clinic in jails is a welcome idea. But a lot of concerns can be obviated if this becomes a big movement. Can we invoke Chapter Roman 6A, Section 22A and 22B of this whole Legal Authority Act, whereby public services dispute can be settled on a fast-track basis? They are not only from motor accident claim to insurance claims to communication claims to power-related issues to hospital issues. I think these are emerging areas of litigation where the victim is poor, is underprivileged. I would really recommend in all earnestness that these must be taken as a focus area. The other thing which is very important, which needs to be understood, is how do we make it a movement? I'll talk about it very briefly subsequently when I would address the digital aspect of India, which I'm also handling as IT Minister of India, and how it is changing India. But what is important is that this communication strategy has to be one of synergy. Synergy at the taluka level, at the district level, and all other levels. And I wish to announce today that in the second phase of e-program, we have taken a call that all the 622 district mediation centers of NALSA activities and the taluka level shall be computerized, because that linkage is indeed very important. Let me, while I fully compliment the great initiative which the NALSA movement have taken, and I again wish to congratulate the Chief Justice, Justice Dave, all the chairmen of NALSA in various high courts of India, the honorable judges, because this whole movement is judiciary driven, and we quite complimented for that. What are the areas of concern? And I will be failing in my duty if I don't also flag the areas of concern. The budget has been scaled up many times, but when I was going through the records, there is need for proper utilization of budget in time. Money will not be lacking, but there has to be greater utilization. That's one flag I would like to make. The second is a larger issue. I was just going through a report on the state of Indian judiciary, a report by Daksh. It's an extraordinary study, and I was just telling Honorable Chief Justice, I would like all the honorable judges to go through it. The foreword by Justice Venkat Chalaya, former Chief Justice of India, about whom I have great personal regard. The foreword is a marvel of literature in English and also a great epitome of legal wisdom. And this particularly I would like to share it today. At page 139, while on access to justice, they undertook a big survey in the entire country. The survey interviewed 9,329 litigants at 305 locations in 184 districts in 24 states of India. And it was chosen from all the district courts of India. But what is a matter of concern for me as the Law Minister of India, and this should be the concern of judiciary also, that they have found that a litigant, when he comes to the court, he is spent rupees 520 per day. And if two are coming together, either he or the witness or otherwise, the total expenditure is 30,000 crore per year when litigants are spending themselves on attending the dates in a case. This is not my number. The media should not make a headline as my number. But this is a study I am quoting. Now, if 30,000 crore apart from legal expenses is being done only and only on visiting the daily case listed in various courts of India, they found out that 33% of civil litigants interviewed were keen to go for alternative dispute redressal mechanism. But what they found was that only 2.36% of all litigants were seen to be using court-appointed lawyers. I think that is again an area of concern to be addressed. We need to improve lawyers. The fee part, Justice Dave has rightly pointed out. Surely initiatives are being taken. I will personally look into it. We need to reinforce the architecture of mediation to others. But how does this big gap of so many people feeling the pain of only traveling cost, keen to go for alternative mechanism, yet not finding the architecture and the response needed? That is the gap area we need to address. We have to work together a lot. There, I think, digital connect can play a very crucial role. and that is my last point I would like to share. We in our government are involved in a very big transformational exercise. Digital India, Make in India, Skill India, Startup India are all game-changing programs. I would like to inform the honorable judges present here today that I am seeing a new India working as an IT minister. It is a different India, full of hope, excitement, initiative. In India of 1.25 billion today, we have 1.03 billion mobile phones. We have got 104 billion Aadhaar card, verifiable digital identity, duly covered by a law having all the secrecy clause validated on the principle laid down by the Supreme Court. The matter is pending, I will not say more. But one thing I can tell you, by using verifiable digital identity, the smartphone, and linking the Jan Dhan account to banks, and directly sending the subsidy to their accounts, we have saved 36,000 crores in the last 1 year. And there is a World Bank study. If digital connect is properly measured, India will save 70,000 crores every year. There is a mass movement which I am encouraging a lot of common service centers. There are digital deliverers at the ground level, at the hinterland, taluka level, or Gram Panchayat level. When I became minister, the number was 80. Now I have scaled it to 2,29,000. I wish to make it 2,50,000. They are making passports, Aadhaar, banking correspondence, insurance correspondent, digital literacy. I have also met in the skill center. Can these common service centers become the front end of legal aid movement? That is the question to be considered. We'll go into detail. These are some of the ideas. Honorable Chief Justice, I would seek your indulgence to end on a personal note, because this is the occasion to share that personal note. I began my law practice in Patna High Court in early 80s. I was also a part of the human rights movement. One day I saw a newspaper report that under trial Mohammadin Mia was in jail for 49 years. PIL was in its infancy. But I don't know what happened. I just filed a PIL with the name of the human rights body. Oh my goodness, what a dressing down I was given by the bench. You are a beginner, you don't know law. This is the way to file a case. But I persisted and finally succeeded in getting a notice issued. Mohammadin Mia was in jail in Hazaribagh, now Jharkhand. Then it came a very emotional moment. One day a very elderly person came to meet me, because this has come in the news. He said, you are the lawyer who has filed the case. I'm like, yes, I have. I am the nephew of Mohammadin Mia. And when my father passed away in 1948, he had taken an oath from me that I will search his brother. And I work in Assam, and every year I come to Bihar. He was from Champaran. I spent 2 months. And then I found out that he was an accused in a trial case. He was declared mentally sick, and his trial was stayed, as is the norm. And the society forgot him. Finally, I fought. I got him permission to meet his. I asked him, how do you know your uncle? You haven't met me. He has a big mole on his forehead. And thereafter I got him released. I argued and finally got a princely sum of 25,000 as compensation those days. Honorable the Chief, destiny has been kind to me. I did okay as a lawyer. When I shifted to Supreme Court also, in spite of my parliamentary and political activities, I could manage to do well as a lawyer. I'm a parliamentarian for the last 17 years, have been minister again and again. God has been kind. But that faint smile of hope when Mohammadin Mia came to meet me after 49 years remains the biggest trophy of my life. That's how I keep it. And therefore, commitment for access to justice will always remain a great commitment from me. I can only assure you, as a minister, whatever is required to be done to make this initiative further accelerated, effective, I will always be available. Thanks a lot. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Your enlightening address will go a long way in inspiring us, and we would certainly endeavor to incorporate your suggestions in our working. In today's world, information technology is being used as a vehicle of growth in every walk of life and governance. In fact, we have the honor of having the Honorable Minister with us today. This technology is a powerful tool for creating awareness, and through which NALSA can expand its reach right to the doorsteps management system and can be easily modified. It also has a cross-browser compatibility, and it can be opened in any of the operating systems such as Mozilla or the Internet Explorer. It is mobile friendly. It provides an updated organizational structure with central library of contacts and various other methods like expanding forms, controls on demand, drop-down lists are available. It also provides links to the legal services management system, the public grievance redress and monitoring system, and the websites of all the state legal services authorities. As far as the legal services management system is concerned, as we all know, free legal services can be availed from the Supreme Court level down to the taluka level. At every level, we have hierarchy of structures for providing legal aid to the people. As far as the manual system of providing free legal services is concerned, at present, the applicant has to come to the office, or he has to bring an application form which is filled up. The same is submitted physically or by post to the authority. Then the Legal Services Authority has to verify each and every application, process the application as per the eligibility of the applicant. Thereafter, it may take action and inform the applicant by post. This system has several constraints, such as the person needs to travel or send the application by post. It also results in delay in verification, and the application status is not known to the applicant. There is also no confirmation of receipt of legal aid. Now, through the system which we have developed, online submission of application for legal services by the citizens anywhere and anytime would be possible. It would also be possible for the authorities to forward the application to any other authority. For instance, if somebody files the application with the State Legal Services Authority in Punjab, but the case pertains to a taluka level committee or perhaps the district of Patiala or any other district, by just one click, the State Legal Services Authority can then forward the application to the concerned district or the taluka. It also provides for online verification and approval by the authority. Printing of application would also be possible. Subsequent, at present, these features are already available, would already be available, and in the subsequent phase, online processing of the application would be possible, whereby all the lawyer management, whether the lawyer has to be assigned in a particular case or whether the person has to be called for counseling, any reports which have to be generated, all that would be possible online. The online application status can be known through SMS alerts. This would also facilitate monitoring of the applications at every level and bring in transparency. This system has various benefits for the citizens, such as we said earlier, the application can be filed from anywhere, anytime. This application can be filed both in the local language and in English. The applicant can also upload the supporting documents, such as identity documents, caste certificates, any other documents which the applicant wants to upload. It would also lead to generation of a diary number, and after the application is accepted by the authority, a registration number would be generated. The applicant would be in a position to send any clarification or reminder which he wants to send on an already filed application online. Further, the applicant would also be able to view the status of the application online. The important features are application filing, which would be available immediately from today, and in the subsequent phase, in the next couple of months, the lawyer panel management system would also be available, Lok Adalat management, grant management, admin module, and even all the different reports. NALSA keeps asking for various data from the state authorities, from the district authorities. All the reports could be generated and managed online. As we all know, public grievances, all the authorities receive grievances from various litigants, various public persons from time to time. And this is one issue which really agitates us, in the sense that any delay may lead to more RTIs, or then the public confidence in our system weakens. So this is one system which we have been looking at. Basically, the central government has a public grievance redress and monitoring system. We took the same system from them and we have customized it to suit the needs of the legal services authorities. As we know, in the traditional approach, the grievance redressal is basically through letters, emails, which have to be kept in hard copy. It is time-consuming, does not reflect the public satisfaction, and leads to increased RTIs. However, this system would now provide a one-stop platform for citizens to lodge and seek status of their grievances. It would be online, paperless, and time-saving. It would be easy to use for the citizens and legal services authorities. A user manual would also be available on the site itself. The grievances can be lodged anywhere on 24/7 basis. The users would get acknowledgement and, more importantly, the time which would be taken to redress the grievance. The important features are it would lead to transparency and accuracy in the system. The grievances would be classified. They would be disposed of faster. Maximum time limit of resolving the grievances would be specified, and SMS facility would be available to know the status of the application. Again, the provision would be made in this system also for forwarding the grievance to any legal services authority online within seconds. Like NALSA now receives grievances from the central government, from various authorities, but the grievances actually pertain to the district authorities. Now, just by one click, we would be able to forward it to the district authorities or any other authority. The legal services authorities can also load any grievance which they receive physically online. Various useful reports could be generated. Better monitoring would be possible. At the NALSA level, the NALSA would be able to monitor the grievances throughout the country. The State Legal Services Authority would be able to monitor the grievances within the state. I have the honor to now request Honorable Mr. Justice T.S. Thakur, Chief Justice of India and Patron-in-Chief NALSA, to kindly launch the new web portal of NALSA and declare it available to the people.
of India, Shri Prasad, my esteemed brother Justice Dave, the Executive Chairperson of the National Legal Services Authority, Justice Deepak Mishra, Justice Madan Lokur, Justice Sikri, Sister Bhanumati, Justice Khanwilkar, Chief Justices and judges of the High Courts from all over the country, judges in charge of the mediation conciliation committees of the High Courts, chairpersons of SALSAs, members of the NALSA, judicial officers, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely happy to be among you in this inaugural function of what is perhaps the first of its kind national consultation on challenges in mediation and the way forward. Never before has a national consultation regarding mediation been held by NALSA or by any other agency, government or otherwise. It's therefore a very welcome and heartening development that we are recognizing mediation as also a very important dimension of the work that NALSA has undertaken. I'm acutely conscious of the fact that while we have a very large number of mediators who have been trained to undertake mediation work throughout the country, very few of those who are trained and who are working have been invited. I believe there are just about 3 or 4 mediators from each state who have come to participate, but I'm sure that the deliberations here will help promote mediation in all the states, and the messages that will be sent out from here will reach them in good time. I think in the post-independence era, the most profound development that has taken place in regard to access to justice is the enactment of the Legal Services Authorities Act. That is because poverty was always, and traditionally maybe even today may be continuing in some measure, as a great impediment for people to access justice. And the Act recognizes that access to justice cannot be denied or made inaccessible because of poverty of a citizen. It is on that high ethical or moral premise that the Act was enacted to ensure that even the poorest in the society has access to justice. And if he is unable to engage a counsel or resort to legal proceedings, then the state should step in and help him in getting what he is entitled to. The basic premise, therefore, was to provide legal aid in terms of advice and in terms of even financial aid, apart from legal counsel, which the authority, the National Legal Service Authority and the state authorities were supposed to provide. And that has been, till very recently, the major part of our work, empaneling lawyers and assigning cases to them wherever the person approaching for such help is found to be eligible for the same, given the parameters, the financial parameters which are stipulated. But that dimension is not the only dimension, and I think there are two other dimensions which are equally important and which have emerged over a period of time. One is the concept of Lok Adalat, and the other is mediation through trained mediators in the alternative dispute resolution centers that have come up. Lok Adalat has been now a very great success. If you look at the figures, the Honorable Law Minister mentioned the figures for the year 2015 and 16, but the figures for the previous years would also reveal that crores of cases have been settled by Lok Adalat ever since this movement started. These cases include pre-litigation cases which have not reached the court but which had the potential of reaching the court and burdening the legal system. In that sense, if performance of the legal service authorities for the year 2015, that is 1.63 crores pre-litigation and 61 lakh cases pending, disposed of, making a total of 2.25 crores, is a index. It will show that over the past 10 or 20 years, crores of cases have been disposed of. This is a very great and very, very significant contribution to the legal system which the Legal Service Authority has made, and which has been recognized, which has been appreciated, not only by the litigant public, but also by other stakeholders. What is important is that in these Lok Adalats, for instance, during the previous year, 2015, 61 lakh cases which were pending, and the pre-litigation cases of 1.63 crores, the total settlement amount was in the range of 8,636.90 crores. So around 9,000 crores worth amounts were settled in 1 year only. And that story goes on, that movement goes on. I compliment each one of the state authorities, the chairpersons who have taken personal pain and participated in these programs. During the time I was the executive chairperson, we had also started Lok Adalats on definite subjects like bank cases. Only bank cases will be treated or taken up during the Lok Adalat. So also 138 cases and so on. So different subjects were picked up and specialists were deputed only to deal with that particular subject. So this has been a great story. This has been a success story of which we are proud, and the judicial system is actually grateful to the government for providing the necessary financial support for these adalats, and also for appreciating the kind of work that we have been doing. The third dimension about our work is mediation. And mediation, I must confess, is relatively modern, relatively contemporary, more recent phenomena, because mediation was, there was a stage when mediation was being resisted. The resistance was surprisingly coming from the bar. I remember mediation started initially in Chennai. We have a very reputed mediator, a very master mediator. He is a pioneer, Shri Ram Panchu, and Mr. Naranjan Bhatt, who is here in the audience. These two gentlemen were pioneers, and it started in Madras. But when it was sought to be introduced in Delhi, the Delhi bar was a little cynical about it, skeptical about its relevance and performance, and there were apprehensions that if cases are settled by mediation, the lawyers may be affected in terms of their practice and all. But I must say that the bar sooner than later realized that that apprehension is unfounded. The mediation center in Delhi High Court today is run by the bar members. Mr. Chandyok is sitting here. He has seen how the process has become popular, and number of cases have been settled. The success rate in mediation has not been, in terms of volume, as high or as significant as in Lok Adalat, because in 2015, as against 2.25 crores settled in Lok Adalats, the mediation has settled just about 99,000 cases. But the importance of these cases is that these are cases pending in the courts. Mediation is possible only when the matter has reached the court and is referred to mediators. So these are initial figures. I am sure with the kind of push the mediation process is getting in the country under the dynamic leadership of Justice Dave as chairman of the NALSA and Justice Lokur as chairperson of the MCPC, this is going to pick up in a very, very big way, and maybe in due course match the performance of the Lok Adalats also. Having said that, I would say that mediation has had its share of teething trouble, and that is precisely what has brought you together in this conference. The whole idea is that you address those impediments, those issues, and try to make it run smoothly. One of the issues that has been slated for discussions here, and on which I'm sure people will express their opinions, is the honorarium payable to mediators. There are states in which there is no payment at all. People are working on honorary basis. It's all pro bono. There is absolutely no payment. In others, some payment is being made, but there is no uniformity in terms of the amount payable. And the states are, in some other cases, not financially supporting the mediation process. So I think we need to address this issue, because people who have undergone training, and there are people not only from the bar and from out of the judiciary, there are people from outside the legal profession who have got themselves trained and who are doing good work. I think if you work the cost-benefit ratio, you will find that a honorary payment, whatever that payment, I am not going into details, is made to the mediator. The cost of litigation which the system bears will be far more than what you pay to a mediator towards honorarium. This is a major issue, because this will attract better talent and more committed mediators to join this great movement. One of the reasons, the other issue which is very important and which is also slated for your discussions this afternoon, will be the deficit in making of referrals to mediation. Now, mediators don't get jurisdiction on their own unless courts make references to them. So, if cases are not being referred, it only signifies that there is something lacking in our understanding about the importance of mediation. So I feel, how should we address the issue of increasing referrals to mediation is also one major area. How should judges be trained to pick up the right kind of case which will have some element of settlement in it, to be referred to mediation center is a very important area. It needs to be discussed. I think we can, in due course, I will recommend to the chairperson, executive chairperson, Dr. Justice Dave, that we can have, if not already, it's not already in position, a module for training the judges for purposes of picking up the right kind of cases. You can't have every case referred also, because you must see some prospects of a settlement. And in case you pick up the right kind of cases for reference, it will, I think, be very, very productive. The third and the other issue that I wish to flag at this stage in regard to mediation is that there is a difficulty in managing the mediation centers. There are places where mediation centers are being looked after by the mediation committee of the High Court. Now the problem is that there is a mediation committee of the High Court which is headed by a judge. Then there is the NALSA, State Legal Service Authority, which is also headed by a judge. So there is some kind of a you see, tug of war or some issue regarding jurisdiction as between the two. This creates problems. This results in, you see, this adversely affects the working of the mediation centers. My understanding is, I don't know how Brother Lokur and Justice Dave look at it. My understanding always has been that mediation centers or ADR centers that are set up by the states are directly managed by the state legal service authorities. They are the ones who are setting it up. They are the ones who are providing funds for the setting up of the mediation centers, and they are day-to-day running, their staffing and other facilities. The intellectual content of that center is provided by the MCPC in terms of training the mediators, in terms of certifying the mediators, in terms of maybe at times, refreshing their training and so on. So, while it is good that the MCPC looks after the performance in the mediation centers and can always play a complementary role, the basic duty to ensure that the mediation center runs properly lies and stays with the State Legal Service Authority, which has the funds. These centers can run, these can be improved, these can be provided for only if you have the financial support. The financial support is not directly available to MCPC. MCPC does not have any financial allocation. So I think this is an area, I don't want to go into details, this is an area that needs to be sorted out, this needs to be discussed as to how do you distribute business between the SALSA and the mediation committees. This is an area which you can discuss. I am sure you will do extremely well in that. I may at this stage, while I leave these thoughts with you, we are already late by half an hour, I will just about 2 or 3 other issues that I want to flag, and that is the challenges ahead. One of them is you must be aware of the challenges that are ahead. And I think the biggest challenge ahead lies in spreading awareness among the targeted section of our society. Our constituency, the legal aid constituency or the legal services constituency in the society, are the poorer sections of the society. Those who are below the poverty line. They are our constituency. They are the ones to whom you have to, reach out to. Now, they are poor, they are illiterate, they are backward, they are voiceless. So you need to empower them. And that empowerment, I think, is possible and can come only if you first make them aware of their rights. Awareness, therefore, assumes a very great importance. And it is in that context that we had thought of using the media in a big way. We started with Doordarshan and All India Radio programs organized to, reach out to the desired sections of our society, to spread awareness among them. But we also thought that a visual impact on viewers, I think, lingers on for a longer time, and therefore we need to create something which will perhaps catch the imagination of the less fortunate in the society. It was in that context that we thought that there could be a theme song, and we requested Mr. Prakash Jha, who is a very renowned film producer and a very thoughtful and very helpful in his attitude towards such causes. He was readily, agreeable to that, and he has prepared a theme song. And that theme song will be released. You will see it is a theme song which inspires, but you have to see it from the point of view of those who are going to be the beneficiaries. So, of course, the lyrics of the song "Ek Muthi Asma Par Hak Hamara Bhi Hai" is from the point of view of the beneficiaries of our programs. That has been done, and that you will see just now. But more importantly, I have requested Mr. Jha also to prepare a song and do it on behalf of the legal aid team in this country. If you look at the number of people who are today connected to the legal aid movement, you will find that we are very large in numbers. If you take the judges, practically every judge is in some way or the other connected with legal aid. State legal service authorities have their staff. Then we have panel lawyers who are in very large numbers. And we have paralegal volunteers who are still in larger number. Of course, 5,000 or 10,000 people are already working, actually actively working. But the total number of paralegal volunteers which have been trained today runs into around 1 lakh workers, paralegal volunteers. So it's a very large family. And the theme song that Mr. Jha is designing is a Sankalp song by the team, the legal aid team, that we have taken a vow that we will make justice accessible to the people who, you see, have been denied or who are being denied their rights. I will expect that to be done by the time we are celebrating our Legal Service Day on 9th of November. Jha Sahab has promised that he will be able to do this. But more importantly, we have also been able to pick up incidents, episodes from real life situations, which have been now prepared into small clips or telefilms, which will be shown by you when the audio-visual vans go into the rural areas, which can be shown as to how legal aid has made a difference when it was made available, or how legal aid's absence has created a complication which could be avoided. I compliment Justice Dave for pursuing that project very anxiously, and I also congratulate and thank Mr. Jha for the excellent work that he has done for us. I'm sure this inaugural session will prove very productive, but before I conclude, I may make a very humble request to the Law Minister. Of course, he has made certain suggestions. I have only 2 things to say in response. One, legal aid as a movement, legal service authority as a statutory body with, you see, sufficient resources, maybe running into 200 crores or so. His grievance, of course, is that we are not spending money sufficiently. Our problem is that we are very, very prudent, very conservative in spending money. We feel that every penny that we spend is our own money, and therefore we are not very, you see, very, very outgoing in terms of expenditure. Judges are by their nature very prudent in whether they deal with their own salary or whether they deal with the public money put at their disposal. They are very, very prudent, you see. So if there is some problem in not spending very lavishly, it is not that we are not working. It is because we are very, very conservative in incurring expenditure. That is something which distinguishes our community from maybe other departments which can, you see, if so allowed, we can have a conference in Singapore or maybe London next time. I think we can spend a lot of money, but we have been very, very conservative. Therefore, that is one. But having said that, we have taken the point that money which is set apart should not be wasted, should not lapse. And what we have done is, I must mention to the Honorable Minister that we had 7 schemes launched in the presence of the Prime Minister last year, which deal with different subjects. And the allocation of our funds is now scheme-wise, so that the state authorities are, you see, accountable to doing some service in under each scheme. If they have not spent money allocated under a particular scheme, they will have to explain as to why did they not spend it, which only means that they have not worked under that scheme. So the performance of the authorities, the state authorities, will be judged or monitored by reference to how much money they have spent, and that will give us a better picture. This is one of the indices by which you can say that the authorities are working, because unless you spend money, you cannot possibly perform. So your performance is related to the expenditure. That is one. The other thing that I wanted to mention was that NALSA is being appreciated, admired, and the kind of performance that we have shown. I think even the parliamentary committee has taken note of the success that we have shown. But if you look at the office from which we function, I would invite the Honorable Minister to the office of NALSA. NALSA's office is in a shed, which is, I think, not worthy even for some class 4 staff to be housed there. That is the place from where we are functioning. I think, looking to the fact that access to justice is a commitment that we have made to the country, and it is going to stay for a very long time till the country gets rid of its poverty tag, till people who are below the poverty line go up above the poverty line, and nobody needs state, funding for help. So therefore, I think we need to look at it from an essential facility or a service that has been conceived of and that is being provided. And the least we would expect is that we are given an adequate, a respectable place for our staff and our people to sit and operate from. I will request Justice Dave to invite the Honorable Law Minister for a cup of tea. It will be very useful because he will appreciate from where we are actually operating. An acre of land, maybe even half an acre of land in institutional area, and we will be able to have our own dignified place from where we can function. That is one. The other is that this is, of course, complementing the legal system. The Legal Service Authority's role and its performance is complementing, helping the legal system, which is under a lot of stress, pressure because of the avalanche of cases that come to the system every year. But isn't it time also for the governments to have their litigation policies in place? Isn't it time for the governments to be a little more responsive to, let us say, a Section 80 notice? Is there a process within the government where a Section 80 notice which simply says, give me my salary or give me my rent, which for the premises you are occupying, or some such other thing which is unnecessary, not necessary that it should reach the court? Is there a mechanism within the system which will check this kind of litigation? Why should a case go to the court at all if there is a sensitive screening of such like cases? The cases can stop. They can be stopped at the administrative level itself. And while we all do justice, isn't the government also obliged to do justice at every level, at the administrative level? Why should you force a citizen to go to the court at all? Why burden the system? So I would request the government, through the medium of our Honorable Law Minister, who is one of the most outstanding lawyers that the Supreme Court has seen, and whom we can consider to be our representative in the government, although some representatives have let us down in the past, but whom we still hold that he is our representative in the government, to devise some mechanisms which will relieve our judicial system of the avoidable burden that comes on us, not because we are not ready to share that burden, but because of sheer apathy or indifference or the incapacity of the government to deal with the situation, to take a decision. If you have to pay somebody a certain amount of money, and if he is entitled to it, let somebody in the government take a decision. I know it's very difficult in the current scenario to take any decision which benefits a citizen, because you can apprehend tomorrow some CBI case, some CVC case, some inquiry that you have done this for this person, but there are ways and ways of doing it. It's not necessary. You can always have a setup. You can have former judges of impeccable honesty. Let the issues go to them. If the notice under Section 80 has come, let it be sent to a committee of judges who will judge independently whether this is a case in which the government should fight in the court. If the committee says it is a case which should not be fought, the citizen is right, then why should you force the citizen to go to the court? And let the bureaucracy be relieved of this obligation. Let it be shifted to the judges. The judges can take the burden, and we are used to this. You see, people can criticize, people can, say anything, but the impeccable honesty of the judges is the only shield against any such criticism. And therefore, I feel it is a matter of will. Show the will for providing, for giving a device for resolution of conflicts or disputes outside the judicial system, and you will have help not only from lawyers but also retired judges who will be there to be able to advise the government whether to fight it or not to fight it. With these few words, I thank the executive chairperson and everybody here for giving me this opportunity to be with you and to share my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your words shall always continue to guide us. We are also grateful to your Lordship for raising the issue of accommodation for NALSA. We shall now proceed with the program. Thank you. This web portal is being developed by National Informatics Center for NALSA. I request the team from NIC, that is Srimati Parminder Bakshi and Shri Gautam Sikka, to do a very brief presentation of the portal.
So this web page has regulations about Lok Adalats and services provided by NALSA. The text, most of the text is also available in audio form on the website. And it has got two most important links, that is one, online application filing and grievance redressal. The first online application is for public to launch, to file the application online anytime, anywhere. With this, as soon as we click on the launch application, an application form is open for the user to fill in the form. He can fill the form in Hindi as well as in English. And after saving this form, he gets a diary number with which he can even track his application status, and he can send a reminder or a clarification on this for this application. The second link is for grievance redressal, wherein user can file a grievance online anytime. He can fill in the form. And there is also login for authorities to check the grievance and take the action accordingly.
Thank you. I, on behalf of NALSA, am highly obliged to the NIC team for the efforts put in by them for creating this new web portal for us. If the poor, illiterate, and marginalized sections of the society were left to themselves to ask for free legal services, indeed, legal services would become a paper promise. Media is a powerful mode of creating awareness, with the objective of spreading the message amongst the weaker and marginalized sections of the society across the country about the availability of legal services and activities of NALSA. The Central Authority of NALSA, under the chairmanship of the Honorable Chief Justice of India and Patron-in-Chief NALSA, approved the proposal submitted by Messrs. Prakash Jha Productions for preparation of a theme song, 15 small capsules of short success stories depicting how legal services provided by different legal services institutions help the weaker and marginalized sections, and a 30-minute documentary film on the activities of legal services institutions. While the documentary and the capsules would be released later, the theme song, which is to be released today, it is hoped would become the anthem of access to justice for all through NALSA. Shri Prakash Jha needs no introduction. His powerful, hard-hitting films such as Damol have won national acclaim. Shri Prakash Jha and his team have put in immense efforts to bring out a song which is of the highest quality. In fact, the understanding with which he speaks about the purpose of NALSA reflects his commitment and passion for the work he takes in his hands. I now invite Shri Prakash Jha to make a presentation on the project undertaken by him for NALSA and the song.
Honorable Chief Justice of India, Mr. T.S. Thakur, Honorable Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, Honorable Justice Anil Dave ji, Honorable Justice Shri Deepak Mishra ji, Honorable Justice Mr. M.B. Lokur ji, Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, Honorable Chief Justices of High Courts, and distinguished judges from the High Courts, Executive Chairmen of different state legal service authorities and member secretaries, distinguished officers, office bearers from Government of India, members from media, ladies and gentlemen, I feel truly honored and privileged to be standing here before you to present this song. And even more privileged to have been given this opportunity to do it. It's almost about a year ago when the Honorable Chief Justice of India, who was the then Executive Chairman of NALSA, asked me to something which touched me. So this song is about the sky that we are hoping for, that we are trying to reach. और उस आसमान में एक मुट्ठी आसमान में हक इनका भी है, और अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पे हक इनका भी है. This song, which was written by Manoj Muntashir, who is a very popular songwriter, reflects in very simple words. You will see these people. We went to almost 20 states. And not only the activity of NALSA, but we also went to the street corners, we also went to the villages, we also went to the fields where people work. We met hundreds of children and women. And these are all casual shots, shots which reflect true India and the hope and aspiration of these people. We went to the prisons in Jharkhand, where NALSA has done tremendous work by giving hope to these convicts and prisoners who have no idea as to how they can appeal against their conviction. The paralegal volunteers and the dedicated lawyers initiated by NALSA have been able to help these people to file their appeals, and many of them have got justice. They have walked free out of the jails. In Rajasthan, NALSA has done tremendous work. I mean, the state legal authority, of course, it will be said that. There are hundreds of schemes where government gives benefits to several sections of the society. And the state legal authority has made it possible to educate people about those benefits. Honorable Minister talked about action against acid attack. I have a story which is one of the follow-up stories after the song which talks about an acid victim where the state legal authorities were able to take her case and get her the compensation for her treatment and a better life. Victim compensation, and I remember Justice Dave, the tears in his eyes when he was handing a 2 lakh rupee check to 2 kids in Jharkhand whose parents had been murdered and the victim was in the jail. I mean, the assailant was in the jail, and those two kids didn't know where to go. NALSA paralegal workers approached the court, and eventually they were able to get the state to adopt those kids who are now paying for their education. And there is a judge who looks after this investment of 2 lakhs of rupees which has been made in the name of these 2 children. Victims of disaster management. A poor old man who doesn't know as to where should he go to get his pension. How will he benefit from this scheme of the government? And also paralegal workers are helping him out. So this idea of this song was to just create awareness in the voice of those people who would benefit through those faces and those eyes. And it is the passion with which, I must say, the concept of NALSA and the people behind it is working. And I must congratulate them for wherever they are able to work and be effective. It definitely had brought some difference. I would again say I'm very proud and very privileged to have been able to do this song. एक मुट्ठी आसमां पे हक हमारा भी है, अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पे हक हमारा भी तो है. This song will be followed by 15 short films which will be released every week on the Doordarshan, and a half-an-hour documentary which will be showing in the villages and the areas where people need to know about it. Thank you very much. Again, very privileged, very honored to be here. And I would request, because the songs is going to come on these 2 screens. Oh, release it first. But
thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
I now invite a distinguished guest on the dais to kindly release the song.
हेलो, आप बोलो, अब क्या बनाओगे? नमस्कार जी, बताइए। रुको यार, इसको लाइट तो ऑन कर दो। भाई मैं काम में बिजी हूँ, रुक जाओ।
Thank you. We will now play the song.
एहसास आएगा सबके लिए, आकाश आएगा सबके लिए, उल्लास आएगा सबके लिए, विश्वास आएगा सबके लिए। अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पर हक हमारा भी तो है, इंसाफ के इस आशिया पर हक हमारा भी तो है। एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर
सोचो दर्द हमारा कहीं सुना न जाएगा, अब न्यायालय खुद चलकर चौपालों तक आएगा।
लाचारों को न्याय मिलेगा, दुखियारों को न्याय मिलेगा, कमजोरों को न्याय मिलेगा, मजलूमों को न्याय मिलेगा। अपने इस हिंदुस्तान पर हक हमारा भी तो है, उम्मीदों के इस गुलसिता पर हक हमारा भी तो है। एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है, एक मुट्ठी आसमां पर हक हमारा भी तो है।
गरीब और कमजोरों को मुफ्त एवं सक्षम कानूनी सहायता के लिए प्रतिबद्ध विधिक सेवा प्राधिकरण नालसा, न्याय सबके लिए।